We'll soon find out. If I don't show up one day and you look in the sky and you see a new star, Mr. Whitman was right. I don't think he will be. All right. Now, this one, everybody asked me, Mr. Myers, I don't know how to do that one. We didn't do anything with liters. Of course we didn't. We did stuff with centimeters and kilometers and kilograms. And in metric, everything's the same, isn't it? So no matter what letter I put here, I could put a Q for kilo quiggle ducks and centa quiggle ducks. And you would move the decimal place the same amount. Yeah? Yeah. So it doesn't matter that you don't know about liters. You could do this with kilometers and centimeters, which means the decimal has to move one for every step, right? So I started out at 0.715, hecto, deca, meters, decimeters. What goes in the hole? 0. Centimeters. Right? So the answer is 71,500 centiliters. No matter what. Doesn't matter what the unit is. In SI, it's all based on 10, which is one decimal place per step. Okie dokie? Okie dokie. Let's say you don't remember all those steps. Kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, milli. Let's say you forget those steps. Then you use your sheet, which showed you that 1 centimeter, that showed you 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. And you just use that fact to do this. Cool? So if you couldn't remember the steps, you would have gone kilometers or kiloliters to liters, which is 1 to 1,000. Then you would have done that answer with 1 to 100. Everybody cool? Picking up what I'm putting down? Read my mail, mow my lawn? All right. This one is another hard one because you didn't have milligrams to ounces on your sheet, did you? No, but did you have grams to ounces? Yes. So if you make this grams by moving the decimal, how many spaces from milli to base? 3. The decimal was here, so I got to move it out. It is 0.413 grams, right? And then I need ounces. So 1 ounce was 28.35 grams. So 0.413 divided by 28.35 to get 0.015 ounces. Now I would take 0.02 because I told you guys 2 decimal places when in doubt, right? I would take 0.02. I'd give you full marks for it. Everybody cool? Does everybody see what you had to do there? You had to do a conversion that you already knew how to do because it was in metric. Gouda? Great. And this one, I said, I believe, on Thursday or whenever we did this, that you could go ahead and leave decimals. So this was just 6.14 times 1 mile over 1.609 to get 3.81. I'm perfectly happy to take that when you're converting, okay? Everybody all right with that? Okay. Now, if you went crazy and told me how many yards that was or feet or whatever, that's cool too, right? Any problems with the first 3? Okay, so is everybody cool if I just put the numbers here and then you stop me and I'll explain one if you need it? Okay, so this was 6.5 yards. I will, of course, accept 6.4, whatever the next decimal was, probably like a 0.48 or something. But 6.4 blah, whatever the next one is, I'll accept that for a mark. This one was 2,103 millimeters. This one, same thing as up here. We had to do the double conversion, right? Get it in grams, then move the decimal. It was 992,250 milligrams. Anybody want to see that one, or is everybody okay? Okay. So this one, I'm going to slide this answer down to here. So we had ounces to milligrams. We don't know milligrams, do we? But we know 35 ounces, and we are going to grams, so it's 28.35 over 1 ounce, right? So this is multiply. 35 times 28 got me 992.25 grams, yes? But I don't want grams, I wanted milligrams, so I had to move the decimal 3 spaces. 1, 2, and what goes in the empty spot? The 0. Cool? Yeah? Okay. Now this one, there's a couple of ways you could do it. Okay? What I did was this. I did 385 divided by 12, and that got me 32.08. Blah, blah, blah. Right? So I knew it was 32 feet. Now, you can do one of two things here. You can either do, and I'm going to change color there. You can either do 0.08 times 12 will get me my inches, right? Which is 0.96, which is 1 inch, right? But you wouldn't have done 0.08. You would have done your whole calculator, whatever was on the screen there, right? That will get you 1 inch. Or you can do 32 times 12, which got you 384. You needed 385. You've got 384, so there is 1 inch there. Everybody cool? Do I care which way you do that? Of course not, right? Now this one was tricky because what kind of ton is that? Metric or, SI or imperial? That's an imperial one because the SI one is the French one. Ton. Right? So it was just 3.05 times how many pounds in a ton? Look on your chart if you don't remember. I have to say this because I don't remember because it's imperial. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So 3.05 times 2,000 to get 6,100 pounds. And then this one is the exact same as over here, right? There's 16 ounces in a pound. So the first thing I did was 109 divided by 16, right? And that gives you an answer. What is it? I don't remember. 6. So you put a 6 there and then a bunch of decimals, yeah? So whatever those decimals were, I'm just going to write XXX. So then you could either go XXX times 16, right? Or you could have gone 6 times 16, which is 96. You needed to cover 109 ounces. You had 96, so there was 13 ounces left over. Everybody cool? Give yourself a mark out of 9. Yeah? Okay. Now, I believe the next two things on your review are claws. Yes? 4 sets of claws that I said not to do, right? Then we get to measurement. Now, I can't remember if I told you guys to consider this ruler going all the way to 0. If I didn't, some of you are going to have different answers here. Okay? If I did and you remember, terrific. If I didn't, we'll fix it anyway. I'll write down the right answer. Okay? So this first one is 4, and I'm going to say it stops right there, which is 11/16. Your photocopy is a little blurry, so I will accept 4 5/8 up to 4 3/4. Okay, I will accept anything in that range. Now, if you only did this part, then you would have counted, right? You would have said, okay, well, that's 3 1/4, right? plus a 16th. So that was 3 and 3 3/16 up to, that is 4 and 11/16. And then you would have done the difference right here, which was 1.5. I would have accepted 1.5 if you only told me that this was 1.5 inches. Both of which are acceptable, because I forgot to tell you guys to go to 0. Until some of you had already done the question. You don't have to go back and erase it. Of course, if you've done your work in pencil, you could have gone back and erased it. It wouldn't have been a problem. I'll accept either answer. Everybody cool? And this one was 8. And I say it ends right there. This photocopy wasn't as bad, which is 8 and 5/8. But I, of course, will accept 8 and 9/16 up to 8 and 11/16 because the photocopying wasn't so hot. Is everybody okay? Does anybody need to see the difference one, or did everybody measure from 0? I'm going to trust everybody measured from 0. Then I believe you had a couple of claws that I said skip. You guys had the rectangular room, yes? But you didn't have the aircraft model, did you? Good, because I'm doing the aircraft model next unit. This is the one you guys had. So I got to paint the... What do I got to paint? Just the walls. So I got 2 walls that are 4 by 3, correct? And I got 2 walls that are 3 by 3, correct? Which gets me 24 and 18, which means I got to do 42 square meters, yeah? But I want to do 3 coats. So what do I do with the 42? Times 3 to get 126 square meters, right? Everybody's cool with that? Now, 1 liter will do 12. I got to do 126, so I divide that by 12, and I get 10.5 liters. Cool? Now, I will accept 2 answers here. The question specifically says, how much paint does he need? It does not say how much paint he needs to buy, does it? So if you have 10.5, you get your mark. But I will also accept 11 liters if you assume the paint comes in 1 liter jars. Picking up what I'm putting down? So you would round that up. Everybody cool? What if it was 10.2 and it comes in 1 liter jars? What do you got to buy? 11. Still 11, even though 0.2 doesn't round up. Right? There's math and there's real life. Cool? So give yourself a mark there. I think that's the only mark on that page. Oh no, there's 3 marks available to you on that page. Everybody cool? People rocking 12 out of 12? Nope. 10 out of 12? All right. Now, 28, I will accept 2 different answers again. Because on your guys' work, that's how I drew it, yes? Mm-hmm. Just like I did on that worksheet I gave you. This figure is impossible, isn't it? Because if this is 6 and this is 6, then this can't possibly be 8. Because hypotenuse, Pythagoras doesn't let that happen, does it? But I did that on purpose to see what would happen, okay? Most of you will have gotten this right from surface area, but you might have a little trouble with volume, okay? So the surface area, again, I'm going to show you what I would have done. This, which is 6 by 6, because length times width, right? Because there's 2 of them, so it just makes a square. Does everybody understand? Because I could put this down here, this part of the roof on the back side, and make a square. Is everybody cool with that? So I had 36. Then I had this, which was 6 by 20, right? And there's 2 of them. 6 by 20 by 2, which is 240. Everybody cool? Okay. Then I had this, which was 4 by 20 by 2, which was 160. Everybody still okay? Then I had this, which was 8 by 4 by 2, which is 64. Yes? And then I had the bottom, which I'm going to write up here in green. The bottom was 20 by 8. Why is it only times 1? Because there's no ceiling, right? Because this is not a structure. This is a math figure. So 20 by 8 is 160. And then you just added it all up to get 660 centimeters squared. This is not middle school, right? I'm not going to mark it wrong because you forgot centimeters squared, right? I know that is what would have happened to my son in grade 6 in elementary school. He would do all this work and his teacher would mark it wrong and then say he doesn't know how to do area, which actually happened to my poor little boy, who then now thinks he's bad at math. What are you going to do? But is everyone okay with that? Okay. Now, volume, you had a couple of options. I'm going to erase everything I've done here. Some of you will have done this. You would have found the volume of the green part, right? Which is length times width times height, correct? 8 times 4 times 20. Agreed? Which is, I'm going to do volume in red, which is 640, right? And then some of you might have done this volume in blue. Maybe you said to yourself, that's half a prism, right? So you could have done length times width times height divided by 2. Some of you might have found this triangle and multiplied it by 20, right? Right? Which is 6 by 6 divided by 2, so 18 times 20, which is 360, right? So some of you might have done 360 and gotten 1,000. If you got 1,000, you get a mark. Now there's 2 blanks here, so that question's out of 2. Everybody cool? Some of you may have done this. Some of you may have recognized, hey, wait a minute, this is a prism, isn't it? And I can take the base area and multiply by the height, can't I? Does everybody see what I did there? So this was 8 by 4, which is 32, and this was 18, yes? 18 and 32 is 50, right? Right? And then you could have done 50 and 20, or 50 times 20, and gotten 2,000. Everybody okay with that? Sorry. 1,000. So you could have done it that way. Is everybody good? I don't care which way you do it. Is everybody okay? Any questions about that one? No, not centimeters squared, centimeters cubed. Everyone's good? Okay. This one, I would do this one as a full prism for surface area, right? Minus 2 times 9 minus 18 minus 18. That's what I would have done. So I would have done 8 times 4 plus 8 times 18 plus 8 times 18, 8 times 4, and 18 times 4. And I would have multiplied that whole answer by 2. And then I would have subtracted 36. Because that's all that's missing, right? Everyone okay with that? And I would have gotten 460. Does anybody want me to talk about that surface area anymore? No? Okay. And volume, I would have done 8 by 4 by 18, which is the whole thing, right? Minus this part, which is 2 by 9 by 8. Because that's been cut out of the volume. And I would have gotten 432. Again, out of 2 marks. Does anybody want that one explained? Or are we feeling okay? The trick with surface area and volume is to remember this surface is still there. It was not removed. But in volume, we cut a chunk out of that cake, didn't we? So it's taking up less space. Everybody good? Okay. Cylinder was easy peasy. It was only surface area, which is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And it was 200 pi by the end. So something around 628 feet squared would have been okay too. I'll accept both, obviously. Everybody cool? But only 1 mark for it. Now, does anybody wish to attempt the gummy bear question? It's really, really tricky. Like, I don't expect, like, honestly, it's been done right once in like 17 years without cheating and using Google. Did you cheat and use Google?
I looked up conversions, but I didn't.
All right, so what'd you do? It doesn't matter because I forgot my gummy bear to buy gummy bears, so you're getting an IOU anyway. What?
I just wanted to do the question. I took the meters, I found the volume, and then I converted it to liters.
You found the volume of
A cylinder.
Yeah.
And then converted it to liters. And
Yeah.
divided it by 2.
Yeah. Because it's cut in half, right?
And then I found the volume of a triangular prism.
Yeah.
And converted that to liters. And
Yeah.
added that to that.
Awesome. That told you how much volume was in the cylinder, right? And then all you had to do was tell me how much the water rose, right?
Water rose by 0.36 liters.
Okay. So, nothing is wrong with that. Because that is actually the right answer, right? If I poured, you guys have all seen in science class, you fill the graduated cylinder and you read, right? So, and the water, when the water rises, it's going up on that scale in liters, isn't it? So that's a perfectly acceptable answer. And might I say, Kaylee, something that no one has ever, in the 17 years I've been teaching math, tried. Nobody has tried to do it that way. And is it technically right? I didn't do the math, but is your thinking right? Will that water go up on that scale 0.36 of a liter or something, right? Whether your math is right is not what I care about. I care about the concept. Is that okay? How many of you, if any of you, thought about height as anything other than a centimeter or some measurement? That's what most kids do. Most kids think I mean how tall the cylinder has gone. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I started out with water there, right? And then like a bathtub, I dropped in something, a triangular prism, right? And then that water would have moved. I started out with it here, and then like a bathtub, that water moved up. And most kids are trying to find that distance. Is that okay to find that distance? How many of you were trying to do that, if you even tried the question? But is what Kaylee did okay? Because this, if it was that thing in science class, if it was a graduated cylinder, it would have gone up in liters, wouldn't it? That's brilliant, Kaylee. I'm giving you the gummy bears. I'm not even going to test your math because you tried something totally different and figured it out. You're getting 10 gummy bears that you don't want, but that's okay. Make some friends. As soon as I remember to buy gummy bears. Not to imply you need to buy friends with gummy bears. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But that's brilliant. And do you mind if I won't use your name, but if I quote you when I go over this later this afternoon with my other grade 10 class? I'm going to say one of my kids in the other classes did this thing that I've never thought to do. Brilliant. $2,500. That's how much this thing costs. And it's not working. I know, right? It's telling me I'm pushing the button on the pen right now. Am I? Oh, there we go. Shut up, Mark. But it won't let me close. I'm going to take a deep breath. Then I'm going to try writing again. Okay. I can't apparently do what I wanted to do, so that's okay. Now, most of you... Wow, everything's highlighted. What color will I get? Oh, still red. Most of you probably did the height thing, okay? And the answer, if you went up in centimeters, is 1.79 centimeters. Did anybody try that and get 1.79? Okay, so I don't have to give out any gummy bears. That's a crazy hard question. My pen isn't working very well. Later today, I'll come back to it and we'll go over it, okay? If you care. If you don't care, no big deal. But I will tell you that it has to do with this. It has to do with the volume of the water. And since the volume of the water is a cylinder, it's pi r squared h, correct? That's the volume of just the water. Everybody with me? And then after I drop in the prism, I'm going to have the volume of the water plus the prism. Understand? See how everything's starting to disappear? It's catching up all that poop that I was doing earlier. Everybody with me? I'm going to have the water plus the prism. Now, this volume of the water I have right here, isn't it? But once I drop that prism in, it's still going to be pi r squared, but it's going to have a different height. Understand? And when I find that different height, I can subtract the two heights, and I get that. That's how I have always solved this problem. Quite frankly, Kaylee, I have never bothered to think about it in any other unit. I think that's brilliant. You may get 20 gummy bears, because I never, ever think about it in anything but distance. And if there's one person in the room that should think around differently, should have been me. So brilliant. You guys aren't laughing at me, right? You're laughing at this, yeah? Okay. Lies. I'm just going to go ahead and restart, because when in doubt, Control-Alt-Delete.